Welcome to the Wildlife Center of Virginia, where today we're going to show you something new that we're doing here at the center about wildlife in your backyard. My name's Kate.
Sandy Green.
And we're going to take you on a virtual tour that's going to show you things that you can try in your yard.
Come with us.
So, we got started thinking almost a year ago about what we could do to spruce up the front of the Wildlife Center. We started thinking about how we wanted to frame that, and we started using the National Wildlife Federation's guidelines for getting your backyard certified as a wildlife habitat. We decided through the Headwaters Master Naturalist Group to join up with the Master Gardeners and also with some volunteers from the Wildlife Center and get together as a group to design what we wanted to have happen. So this got started in my personal interest in this was starting to think about how we could use wild foods to help feed some of the patients here at the center. But we also wanted to use this as an education space for what people can do at home.
And we did get certified. There it is.
So many of you who are watching this video probably already know what we do here at the Wildlife Center. We teach the world about wildlife, we provide veterinary and rehabilitation care, and our goal is always to return animals to the wild.
Wait, Kate. Really? Teaching the world? What's going on here? Who is this? And how do you teach the world from Waynesboro, Virginia?
Well, we have a lot of ways, Sandy, that we can teach the world, and that's what we're hoping to engage our viewers to do too. So hopefully at home you can take this message and take it even further. So in addition to our outreach programs and events that we offer throughout the state, we also offer hands-on training opportunities to the veterinary professionals that come from around the world. Our online presence also is growing, and you can check this out by visiting our website. People from all over the world can watch our critter cams and read about our patients and learn more about how to best help wildlife. So now let's go over and check out our other signs. So Sandy, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about these illustrations on the sides of the sign.
It was a great project, Kate. It was a great idea. And somehow, on our sign committee, we ended up with some watercolors, which made us think about the Base Caves model of watercolors made by the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay. And they graciously allowed us to use their graphics from the Base Caves landscaping for wildlife and landscaping for water quality. And using this as a jumping off point, which gives everyone an idea in general what they might do for their backyard, just like the National Wildlife Federation, we talked about our own backyard. And our watercolorist, Jewel Hertzler, created another watercolor to match, which shows the Wildlife Center and also illustrates with the little photographic bubbles what we truly did to meet our own requirements for wildlife habitat, inspiring you, the watcher, and us at our homes.
So this part of the sign is a consolidation of the three main teaching points that the Wildlife Center has been trying to get across to the public for over 30 years. These are the ways that people can really help decrease admissions of wild animals to the center. One is by managing our outdoor cat populations differently, since so many of our patients get caught by cats and injured and brought to the center. The second thing that people can do is really pay attention to the litter on our roadside, because roadside litter pulls animals toward the road because it smells good, where they're much more likely to get hit by cars. And a lot of our center admissions are from animals that have got and birds that have gotten hit by cars. And then the last thing that we want to just get people to think about is when they encounter a wildlife situation, a lot of times people are quick to act out of concern and care. They may take an animal out of its natural environment and either try to care for it themselves or bring it to us to care for. What we would like to have happen first would be for people to consult before they take the animal out of the environment so that we can determine if that's really the right course of action.
So, mama birds are still caring for their baby birds as they learn to fly, right? Sometimes you can put them back up in the tree in a makeshift nest. The Wildlife Center could tell us about that if we would just call.
Exactly.
Got it.
These are some ideas that are easy for just about anybody to do that create more habitat variation in your backyard. So piles of rocks are great because they thermoregulate the environment a little differently than the litter on the ground. Rocks hold heat when it's cold, and when it's really hot outside, they also can be cooler than the surrounding environment. providing cover and safety, as well as hiding spots and potentially even nesting spots for animals.
I think this is a toad house. I'm sure it's a salamander house.
Stick piles are also a great thing that you can throw together in a corner of your yard that really help the wildlife by providing more nesting spots. You can tuck it away so it doesn't look too bad. But nowadays they're coming up with new lighting that is designed to put all the lighting that goes downwards and none of the lighting that goes upwards. So it's more effective and efficient in utilizing the light and putting it where you need to see, which is your feet at night. But it also helps protect our skies from ambient light that goes up and then creates a light pollution, which can be both detract from what human beings can see in our beautiful night skies, but may also throw off some of the migratory animals that are trying to negotiate by celestial guidance to get where they're going. So the Dark Skies Initiative is another program that you can read about and start to learn about ways that we can start to reduce that light pollution in our communities.
I've even heard that backyards are safer with less lights, that you can actually see better. So interesting to have the lights that you do put in to be directed where you need them and enjoy the view otherwise.
We also hung a variety of nest boxes so that you can see a demonstration of different styles for different species. This flying squirrel box can show you with the plexiglass fake front wall what you put inside of a nest box that helps attract them to wanting to nest there. We hung the box at this height so that everybody could see the internal features and get a good up-close look at the box. But in real life, if this was a functioning nest box, you'd hang this in a different place and much higher. So now we're up right against the Wildlife Center building, where we've removed a bunch of non-native and invasive plants and replaced them with native species of wildflowers and perennial plants. Like diverse native pollinators are attracted more to native plants, which is why we've put our focus on getting native plants here into the garden. So here, in our raised bed, we've raised a few crops of wild foods that animals eat here at the center. A lot of our patients that come in, everything's new to them here at the hospital. New smells, new sounds, new sights. The one thing that we can try to do to help decrease their stress is give them familiar foods. So we've been trying to grow a few native, and some of these are non-native foods, but they're wild foods that they would encounter out in the wild that hopefully help them feel a little bit more at home while they're here at our center. One of the things we wanted to try to do was address the roof runoff that came off of our roof and would often flood this area of the garden. And so we wanted to utilize the rainwater to both refill the pond and also to irrigate the garden. So the rainwater is shunted through different irrigation hoses that go and snake throughout the garden to keep the moisture there. And we can also redirect the water into the pond so that we're not refilling the pond with chlorinated city water, which wouldn't be good for the fish and for the frogs that are now living in our pond.
And I do remember before we did this project, there was a huge mud hole here. And mud that would even go out into the driveway as the water would pour off the roof. This is a great improvement.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, there is nothing that you can do to your backyard that will increase the amount of variety of wildlife that you'll see than adding a water feature of any sort, whether it's even something as simple as a bird bath to something more elaborate like a pond with a pump. But since we've added this feature in to the Wildlife Center, everybody is just really pleased to notice the increase in frogs and the increase in dragonflies and different pollinator species that have been coming around. So it's been a lot of fun, and it really has increased the diversity by adding this piece into the habitat. A lot of times animals have a wide variety of food that's available to them, but they have to travel some distance to get to water. So whenever you add a water feature into your yard, you're really providing something that is sometimes more difficult for animals and birds to get to.
So wonderful. Well, tell me how rain chains work, just real simply.
Oh, rain chains, which are way down at the end of our building, they just help to decrease erosion by funneling the water that's coming off of our downspouts, and both by breaking up the stream of water so that it's not digging a hole into the ground, but also at the same point directing it where we want it to go.
Well, I guess the most important thing we can do is to thank all the volunteers that made this happen. We even have a sign here on the building to thank some of the businesses that donated materials, including the pump and some of the rock and the plants for this project.
People have been incredibly generous with their goods, with their time. It's been a lot of fun to think about this and to come up with ideas. And I am sure that folks watching this can think of ways that they might want to integrate some of what we've done into their yards, but there's so many other things that could be done too. It's a lot of fun to just get the creativity going and thinking about what you might want to do.
I'm inspired.
Yep, me too.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go home and work on our own yards.
Good idea.
Thanks for
coming
joining
on the
us
tour.
today. It's
Bye.
been great to be with you.